Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. It was 3:42 am local time when the world woke up at once. Every phone screen, every billboard, every control panel in every government bunker flickered to the same message. The thousand-year observation has concluded. Earth will be integrated into the Conqueror within 72 hours. Resistance is unnecessary and inefficient. Beneath those stark lines was a curious symbol, like a six-petaled flower inscribed with eyes. It wasn't threatening, it was administrative. Dr. Lena Asiri stared at the projection hovering over her desk in the underground lab beneath Tokyo. Her long hair, dusted with silver streaks, caught the soft blue glow. She had spent 2 decades building secure channels between Earth and any possible alien sender. Never had she imagined her first real contact would come as a pop-up notification on her fitness watch. "They can't be serious," muttered General Tariq Khan, packing behind her. His uniform was crisply ironed despite the hour, and his dark eyes betrayed barely contained fury. He stopped and stabbed a finger at the projection. "This is an invasion notice delivered with a cartoon." Around them, the Global Response Council, a jury of military leaders, scientists, politicians, and economists, stood in stunned silence. Dr. Asiri tapped her neural clipboard, summoning the metadata feed. "Signal origin 400,000 kilometers out," she reported calmly, "just beyond lunar orbit. Encryption bypass rate 98%. Energy signature suggests technology 3 centuries beyond our own." "So we're screwed," muttered one admiral from Europe. Another shook her head. "We'll be lucky if they send us a customer satisfaction survey next." But Dr. Asiri observed something else. She magnified the alien emoji, its petals rotated as if monitoring their reactions. She lowered her voice. "I don't think they're conquerors in the classic sense. Protocol says conquerors would demand surrender or open fire. Here their language is bureaucratic, integration rather than conquest, unnecessary rather than futile." The room erupted. One delegate shouted for immediate mobilization of orbital platforms, another demanded a public address to rally the people, a third wanted to negotiate immediately. Dr. Asiri held up her hand. "We've spent centuries preparing for aggression. What if the aliens are terrified of us instead?" Laughter rippled through the chamber, but some faces lit with curiosity. General Khan raised an eyebrow, "Scared of us?" Dr. Asiri nodded. Their choice of words, unnecessary and inefficient, reads like a note from a frustrated accountant, not a war planner. They bypassed every human defense with a text. What if they lacked protocols for a species that doesn't follow the script? Silence settled again. Then collectively they realized the truth. No plan covered this. They had contingency for missile strikes, last-ditch evacuations, even negotiations, but never a genuinely confused conqueror. President Ramon Valdez of the Pan-American Coalition stepped forward. "What do you propose, Dr. Asiri?" She let the question hang. Outside the portholes, the moon glowed placid and distant. Below, cities slept in uneasy peace. "We respond not with fear or brute force," she said at last, "but with our greatest unpredictable weapon, humor, humanity's irrational joy." "You want to fight a war with stand-up comedy?" demanded the defense minister from Africa. "Yes," Dr. Asiri replied firmly. "Let's show them our species doesn't do inevitability. We do parties, jokes, and unexpected dance moves. We improvise, we make meaning out of chaos. And maybe, just maybe, we'll break their bureaucratic playbook." She turned back to the projection and typed a single line of text. "Invitation, join us in laughter, Channel 7 starting now." Across the globe, the screens flipped to a live feed. Clips of cats chasing lasers, comedians telling old jokes in new languages, musicians remixing alien instrumentation. People woke, rubbed their eyes, and laughed. Military men paused drills. Children danced in pajamas. Earth didn't ready weapons. It spun a global festival. And somewhere in the silent vacuum, the alien ships hovered, their crystalline hulls reflecting humanity's first response: merriment. As the laughter echoed into space, Dr. Asiri allowed herself a small, triumphant smile. The war had begun not with thunder but with a joke. The global screens flickered from urgent red warnings to bright yellow banners announcing Earth's first ever laughter offensive. Dr. Lena Asiri watched from the command center in Dubai as billions of people tuned in. Rather than drills and air raid sirens, they saw comedians performing stand-up routines in city squares, street artists painting giant murals of alien smiley faces, and flash mobs dancing synchronized routines in front of military bunkers. The council's skeptics had scoffed, but now every nation was united by one simple act: laughter. General Tariq Khan paced beside Lena, arms folded. "This is absurd," he muttered. "Our ships are at battle readiness and you're broadcasting cat videos and knock-knock jokes." Lena smiled calmly. "Precisely. The Conquerats' protocols rely on predictable responses, aggression or capitulation. They expect fear or compliance, but they've never faced a species that greets an existential threat with a party." Across the Pacific, in San Francisco, local comedians streamed live from Alcatraz Island, once a prison, now a stage, poking gentle fun at Earth's absurdities. One joked about how humans kept painting crop circles and calling it alien art, while another mimicked the alien's strange emoji, turning it into a ridiculous dance move. Viewers anywhere could call in and contribute memes, which were instantly broadcast to the alien vessels. In Rio de Janeiro, samba dancers formed a human mosaic spelling out "Welcome" on Copacabana Beach. Their colorful costumes rippled in perfect formation, turning the sand into a living canvas. Children in Argentina released helium balloons tied to signs reading, "We come in peace," and punchlines. In Moscow, chefs prepared massive pizzas topped in alien-inspired patterns, starbursts of olives and peppers arranged like crystalline fractals. Even military units joined in. Pilots in Seoul flew aerobatic displays spelling jokes across the sky in contrails. Why did the alien cross the galaxy? To say hello. Naval ships off the coast of Cape Town used sonar to transmit humorous whale songs, interspersed with giggling soundbites. Submarines pinged Morse code jokes back and forth, as if the ocean itself were in on the cosmic joke. On every continent, people gathered in public squares, living rooms, and temples to join the global festival. Governments suspended normal broadcasts. Instead, official news channels hosted satire shows and open mic nights. Schools turned classrooms into comedy workshops. Scientists live-streamed experiments with playful commentary, watching microbes dance under microscopes while narrating in cartoonish accents. The alien ships remained eerily still. Their crystalline hulls glinted in sunlight, reflecting the earthbound revelry below. Lena and her team monitored the Conquerats' communications channels, expecting an angry rebuke. Instead, they found endless loops of the same administrative text. They had no response protocol for art, for laughter, for collective joy. By hour 12, the Conquerats' fleet had broadcast a new message in perfect English. "Human collective, your response is inappropriate. Please comply with integration procedures or face consequences." The alien's tone was flat, like a clerk reading overdue invoices, but it had lost its power. Lena typed a brief reply. "We acknowledge your invitation. Please join us for a shared performance of human culture. Live on Channel 7. The global audience held its breath. 3 hours passed. Then, without warning, each city's speakers crackled to life simultaneously. A single clear note, the first official alien broadcast. The audience tensed, expecting an ultimatum. Instead, the note resolved into a pure tone, then two, then three, an alien chord progression that grew more complex. To everyone's amazement, it sounded beautiful. A musical greeting. It wove through the laughter, layering alien harmonies over human percussion. In Paris, dancers interpreted the alien music, moving in fluid patterns that mirrored the crystalline branches above Earth. In Cairo, calligraphers painted the alien chords in Arabic script across sandstone walls. In Tokyo, projection mapping artists turned skyscrapers into kaleidoscopes of color that pulsed in time with the alien symphony. General Khan watched the data feed. "They're responding to our humor with music," he said quietly. "They don't know what to do." "Exactly," Lena replied. "We've broken their script, now we build from here." Meanwhile, the council asked a crucial question: what came next? Lena proposed a global improvisation challenge. Each country would submit a short video, a 2-minute capsule of human creativity, a poem, a song, a drawing, a joke. They would compile these into a universal human cultural portfolio and transmit it directly to the Conquerats' core network. Ambassadors raced to select submissions. In Tokyo, a young poet recited verses about cherry blossoms and starlight. In Lagos, a sculptor filmed a clay figure dancing under a storm of rainwater. In Toronto, children produced a rap about playground politics and friendship. In Sydney, surfers recorded wave sounds and narrated them as epic space battles. At the Global Emergency Center, Lena and her team wove the submissions together into a 360-degree immersive reel. They chose clips that showcased humor, curiosity, resilience, and joy in the face of uncertainty. Then, together with General Khan, they sent the package, knowing it would reach the alien vessels in minutes. They watched as the Conqueror's communications lights flickered. A new message appeared. Cultural portfolio received, processing, request direct dialogue. For the first time, the Conqueror broke silence. Rather than integration orders, they sought conversation. Lena's heart raced. Her gamble with laughter and art had opened a door. She knew the next steps would be delicate, negotiating with beings 3 centuries ahead in technology, but tonight Earth had united in mirth. As dusk fell over the translated capitals, people paused their celebrations to look up at the silent ships. Instead of fear, they felt something rare and wonderful, hope. For humanity, laughter had become their greatest weapon. And beyond the skis, the Conqueror was listening. The war, as anyone could see, had shifted. It was no longer a battle of weapons, it was a contest of culture. And Earth, with all its glorious messiness, had just delivered its strongest strike. Before dawn, the oval pod descended silently onto the sprawling lawn of Geneva's diplomatic pavilion. Its hull glowed faintly against the dew-slick grass. Dr. Lena Asiri, clad in a simple dark tunic, stood alone at the landing pad's edge as the hatch slid open with a soft hiss. Around her, the assembled delegation, artists, philosophers, engineers, and military advisors, watched from a respectful distance, their celebratory laughter from the festival now hushed into tense anticipation. From the pod's interior emerged Nexus 7, the Conqueror's designated interpreter. Its form rippled like oil on water, shifting between translucent opal and pearlescent green. Multiple limbs extended and retracted with balletic grace, and where a face might have been, 3 spiraling patterns rotated slowly, each in a different direction. The air itself seemed to hum as Nexus 7 stepped onto the grass. Lena bowed slightly, heart-pounding. She raised a small handheld device. "I am Dr. Lena Asiri, representing Earth's peoples. Welcome to our world." Nexus 7's spirals paused, then rotated more quickly, the alien equivalent of a nod. A gentle vibration filled the air and a mechanical voice spoke in perfect English, though its odd inflection made every syllable feel new. "Dr. Asiri, Earth's laughter campaign has been efficient. We apologize for inefficiency in our protocols. We seek dialogue." Lena exhaled, "We seek understanding. Please join us." Deftly, Nexus 7 produced a small crystalline sphere from one of its limbs. It spun once, then opened to reveal a delicate tea set, cups shaped like petals floating a half-centimeter above the saucers. Lena gestured to a low stone table draped in a blue cloth. As she poured steaming jasmine tea into the hovering cups, Nexus 7 leaned closer, patterns slowing. They sipped in silence, tea untainted by gravity, swirling gently in midair. Lena offered a cautious smile. On Earth, tea is often a symbol of friendship. The alien form rippled, and Nexus 7 placed a small holographic projector on the table. It flickered to life, showing scenes of Earth's everyday moments. Children chasing butterflies, farmers tending rice paddies, dancers spinning under colored lanterns. Elongated text scrolled beneath each clip, translated into the Conqueror's glyphs. Displaying cultural data, Nexus 7 intoned. "We observe your unpredictability, laughter, music, art. Please describe purpose." Lena leaned back. "We create art and culture to express ourselves, to connect, to find meaning in a chaotic universe. We value creativity because it shows what we can become." For a moment, the air pulsed with stillness. Then Nexus 7 extended a limb and drew a thin line in the grass. The line bent into a spiral, then expanded into a rough map of the solar system. A tiny dot at the third orbit glowed brightly. Nexus 7 projected a series of calibrated tones. Lena recognized them as mathematical sequences, primes, the Fibonacci series. She tapped her neural interface, translating. "You've marked Earth's orbit and communicated using mathematics," she said. "Math is universal. It shows we can converse beyond language." Nexus 7's spirals brightened in what Lena took as pleasure. The alien then projected another set of images, data vaults of integrated worlds, crystalline grids of bureaucratic records, census logs of countless species. The Conqueror archive sprawled across light years of inkless logs. It was vast, methodical, and impersonal. "Why do you celebrate individuality?" Nexus 7 asked, voice curious. Lena chose her words carefully. "Individuality drives progress. Each person brings new ideas. When we share them, we grow together. Without it, we stagnate." The alien's form flickered. "Bureaucratic integration values efficiency. Redundancy is waste. Cooperation requires uniformity." "But uniformity extinguishes spark," Lena replied softly. "We are most alive when we surprise each other, when we make mistakes, when we learn." The spiral slowed. Nexus 7 shifted its weight, almost balancing on a single limb. Then it retracted the lens to reveal a small screen on its chest. A face-like pattern appeared, two glowing dots for eyes, a curved line for a mouth. It was a smile. Your imperfection is intriguing. We request further demonstration. Lena nodded. Behind her, the delegation stirred, emboldened by the interpreter's friendly gesture. She stepped forward and signaled the artists. Musicians began playing an improvised tune, flutes weaving through drum beats, while dancers emerged to interpret the melody with sweeping gestures. Poets recited verses about starlight and hope. Engineers unveiled a miniature kinetic sculpture that danced unpredictably in response to wind. Nexus 7 watched every element with focused stillness. Each time the dancers changed formation, its spirals adjusted. When the tune modulated into a new key, the alien recorded frequencies in crystalline registers. The performance climaxed in a burst of fireworks overhead, colorful arcs that spelled out Earth, unscripted. The crowd cheered. Nexus 7 extended all limbs skyward, emitting a soft chant-like vibration that harmonized with the fatting trumpet of the final fanfare. The interpreter then lowered its limbs, projecting one final message. Integration protocol revision required. Request summit aboard flagship. Earth delegates, art, humor, story. Integration committee will respond within 24 hours. Lena exhaled relief. She bowed deeply. We accept. Nexus 7 paused, then gently tapped the tea table, causing the floating cups to gently land on their saucers. Refined tea practice also appreciated, it noted. With that, the interpreter withdrew into its pod, the hatch sealing behind it. The oval craft glowed once, then lifted silently into the sky, heading toward the massive crystalline flagship orbiting overhead. As the lawn returned to quiet, Lena surveyed her team, artists arranging their instruments, engineers collecting data, diplomats exchanging hopeful glances. She knew the next 72 hours would test every ounce of human creativity and resolve. But they had broken the Conquerat's script. They had shown their curiosity, resilience, and joy face to face. And now Earth's future would be decided not by lasers or bombs, but by the power of its stories, its humor, and its unyielding spirit. The boarding ramp shimmered as Dr. Lena Asiri and her small team of human delegates stepped onto the flagship's lower hull. The ship's surface felt like polished glass warmed by sunlight, though they hovered 300 kilometers above Earth. Inside, the corridors glowed with pale luminescence. Crystalline branches arched overhead, their facets reflecting every footstep as soft chimes. Lena led a group of artists, scientists, and legal scholars. Beside her walked Mara Quinn, a poet whose words had helped spark the laughter offensive, and Javier Ortega, an engineer who designed the cultural portfolio transmission. Their guide, Nexus 7's voice echoed gently through personal comlinks. Welcome to the core sector. Follow the prism path. They entered a vast chamber, its walls alive with streaming data, holographic symbols in shapes no human script could capture. Each glyph represented a world, population metrics, resource inventories, technological milestones. The archives spanned thousands of species. It was a bureaucrat's paradise. Javier's eyes widened. This is the Conquerat's library. Yes, Lena replied quietly. Their integration records. Imagine every world's history, filing cabinet by filing cabinet, all in one place. Mara stepped forward, tracing a glyph that pulsed like a heartbeat. What about culture, art, laughter? The walls shifted. A new layer of projections appeared, images of integrated species, their music, their art, their celebrations. Some displays showed entire festivals suspended in time, others recorded philosophical debates. But the Conquerat's records treated these as optional footnotes, tagged under cultural variables behind economic and political data. Lena frowned. They see our creativity as secondary, yet we built bridges with it. They followed the prism path deeper into the ship, passing rows of crystalline chambers that hummed with power. Each branch they passed glowed in response to their presence, as though the ship itself watched them. The hull's branches converged toward a central core room. Its entrance was framed by two towering crystalline pillars. Inside, a circular dais surrounded a holographic globe of Earth. Pinpoint lights marked every major city. Above floated a delicate lattice of lines connecting those lights to the flagship's data stream. Nexus 7's voice guided them. This is the integration command. Here, we evaluate species for membership. Earth's dossier is open for review. The human delegation formed a semicircle around the display. Lena tapped her neural interface, bringing up human responses and questions. We request clarification on integration criteria, she said. her voice carried through the chamber's gentle hum. We value freedom, creativity, unpredictability. How does the conquer rat account for these qualities? For a moment the globe spun silently. Then the lattice of lines pulsed. A new message appeared in glyphs, translated instantly into English on their interfaces. Creativity classified as variable factor, importance secondary, efficiency prioritized. Exceptions require special protocols. Javier exchanged a look with Mara, so our art is just a checkbox. Until now, Lena replied, we've shown that culture can shift outcomes. We need the Conqueror to see value, not variance. Mara stepped forward, her voice steady. We propose a cultural commission, a joint council of human artists and Conqueror archivists. Together, we revise integration protocols to elevate creativity to primary status. Nexus 7's spirals flickered. Lena held her breath. Then the interpreter's voice resonated, proposal noted, awaiting demonstration of efficiency improvement through enhanced creativity. The chamber dimmed. From its crystalline walls emanated a soft glow that formed into three-dimensional projections. A factory pod churning out identical modules, a bureaucratic office processing petitions with mechanical precision, and a sterile colony world, its inhabitants moving in perfect symmetry. These are examples of integrated worlds, Nexus 7 explained. Uniform, predictable, efficient, minimal variance ensures stability. Mara's eyes shone. She raised her tablet and played a short clip from Earth's portfolio. Children spontaneously building an elaborate sandcastle without instruction. A chef inventing a new dish by mixing unexpected ingredients. Street musicians looping live samples into ever-changing rhythms. The factory pods paused. The office lines wavered. The colonists slowed, tilting their heads as if listening. The projections merged with the real chamber walls, transforming their stark efficiency into dynamic patterns of color and sound. Nexus 7's spirals brightened with each sequence. The interpreter's voice softened, demonstration effective, variance detected as beneficial, reevaluating protocols. Lena allowed herself a small smile. We call it creativity. It drives innovation, social cohesion, even conflict resolution. It's essential. The globe above them shifted. New data streams connected Earth's lights to additional nodes on the lattice, colored nodes labeled cultural enrichment, creative exchange, and adaptive resilience. The integration command recognized these as newly prioritized criteria. Nexus 7's form rippled gently. Protocol revision pending. Proposed transit to council chamber for treaty drafting. The human delegates exchanged excited looks. They followed Nexus 7 through winding corridors that glowed brighter than before, as if the ship welcomed their success. They arrived at a circular chamber lined with crystalline seats. At its center hovered a translucent table, awaiting the treaty. Lena approached and placed a tablet on the table. We have drafted a preliminary treaty. It balances Earth's autonomy with cooperation in shared ventures, scientific exchange, cultural festivals, joint defense initiatives. It enshrines creativity as a core value. Nexus 7 extended a limb and touched the tablet. The treaty's text projected above the table in shimmering glyphs alongside its English translation. Delegates read clauses. Earth remains sovereign. Conquerat supports voluntary integration projects. Human creativity commissions established on every integrated world. Joint research and art exchanges every standard cycle. As the final clause glowed into place, treaty ratification through collaborative ceremony of art and felt the weight of history settle on her shoulders. They had come here as supplicants, now they stood as partners. Nexus 7's spiral slowed into a gentle rotation. Draft treaty accepted for council review, final signature ceremony scheduled in 24 hours. Outside, the ship's hull pulsated with light, broadcasting the treaty terms back to Earth. Across every screen the words appeared, a new era of interstellar cooperation begins. Lena looked down at the swirling globe. The dots of Earth glowed brighter than ever, connected by vibrant lines of color. She thought of the global festival of laughter, the poems, the dances. She thought of every hand that had played a part. And she knew that when the humans and Conquerat met again, they would sign not just a treaty, but a promise. To weave creativity and curiosity into the heart of the galaxy's vast bureaucracy.